Okay. Okay. So we have part four. They are not lucky, they are aligned. Okay. And I'm going to keep this title. So let's go ahead and continue with the stories, and we're going to speak from the lessons inside of the book.
Desire you wish to manifest. Instead of thinking about the desire in words, feel its emotional essence. What is the feeling of having it? Is it joy, peace, freedom, security? Infuse your hum with this feeling. Let your vibration become a carrier wave. For the emotional frequency of your fulfilled desire, continue this practice for 5 to 10 minutes, allowing your entire energetic system to become attuned to the resonance of your desire. You are no longer asking for something. You are becoming a living, breathing echo of its presence. In a city of gray stone and hurried footsteps lived a man named Theodore. He was an architect, but his dreams were far grander than the functional buildings he designed. Each night he would sketch fantastical structures, spires that touched the clouds, bridges woven from light, and gardens that floated in the air. He believed that through the sheer force of his will and the brilliance of his designs, he could one day bring these visions to life. He worked tirelessly, refining his blueprints, presenting them to committees and investors, only to be met with skepticism and rejection. His actions were relentless, but they were born from a place of doing, a belief that he had to build his dreams into existence. You stand at a similar juncture. You have been led to believe that creation is an act of force, a process of doing, yet the greatest masters of reality knew a deeper truth. Creation is not about doing, it is about remembering what already exists in the realm of pure potential. Your mind is not a factory that manufactures reality. It is a receiver that tunes into it. The most magnificent creations are not forced into being. They are allowed to emerge one evening, disheartened and weary. Theodore wandered into an old, forgotten museum. In a dimly lit hall, he discovered a strange exhibit, a single black canvas bathed in a soft light. There was no plaque, no explanation, just the dark, empty square as he gazed into its depths. A profound stillness fell over him. His mind, which usually raced with plans and calculations, grew quiet, and in that silence something miraculous happened. From the blackness of the canvas, visions began to emerge. Not his own strained designs, but forms of such sublime beauty and intelligence that they took his breath away. He saw architectures that harmonized with nature, structures that healed and elevated the human spirit. He was not thinking them, he was witnessing them. The museum's curator, an old man with eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the cosmos, approached him quietly. Most people see only a blank canvas.
Hold on.
Magnificent creations are not forced into being. They are allowed to emerge one evening, disheartened and weary. Theodore wandered into an old, forgotten museum. In a dimly lit hall,
Okay, I want to
he
hear.
discovered a strange exhibit,
I went somewhere else.
and the brilliance of his designs. He could one day bring these visions. Close your eyes and begin to hum a low, steady tone.
Let's start again, y'all.
Don't worry about the
My
pitch or
bad.
quality
I'm
of the
over here
sound.
doing something.
Focus on the vibration it creates within your body. Feel the
Feel
hum in your chest,
hum
your
in your
throat,
chest.
your head.
Whenever you manifest,
Now bring to mind the desire you wish to manifest.
as the book says.
Instead of thinking about the desire in words, feel its emotional essence.
We're listening to this book, but we're also referring to the Creator Code. And I know I'm going to go back and listen to the Creator Code because we have to get to all the laws, the law of this, the law of that. I think these topics are awesome to get into while reading and listening to books like this, to now say, oh, this is the law of this. This is the law. You know what I'm saying? So
What is the feeling of having it? Is it joy, peace, freedom, security? Infuse your hum with this feeling. Let your vibration become a carrier wave. For the emotional frequency of your fulfilled desire, continue this practice for 5 to 10 minutes, allowing your entire energetic system to become attuned to the resonance of your desire. You are no longer asking for something. You are becoming a living, breathing echo of its presence. In a city of gray stone and hurried footsteps lived a man named Theodore. He was an architect, but his dreams were far grander than the functional buildings he designed. Each night he would sketch fantastical structures, spires that touched the clouds, bridges woven from light, and gardens that floated in the air. He believed that through the sheer force of his will and the brilliance of his designs, he could one day bring these visions to life. He worked tirelessly, refining his blueprints, presenting them to committees and investors, only to be met with skepticism and rejection. His actions were relentless.
All right, now this is perfect. I knew I had to listen to this for a reason. So we use the example of Miss Gabrielle Reyes, right? So this is someone who we clearly see as a chef, as well as does acting and all other kind of stuff, right? Singing, acting, a chef, vegan chef, and calls herself the one great chef, one great vegan chef, right? So this is the story of the person on the other side who's looking like, well, I'm putting in all this work. I really can cook. I've been cooking all my life. You know what I'm saying? I got these recipes that I've created for myself, while this person is getting hungry root and putting recipes together from that and all this and that. And they got way more followers than me, right? I'm just saying. So this kind of story to me falls into what we just saw. So pay attention.
But they were born from a place of doing, a belief that he had to build his dreams into existence. You stand at a similar juncture. You have been led to believe that creation is an act of force, a process of doing, yet the greatest masters of reality knew a deeper truth. Creation is not about doing, it is about remembering what already exists in the realm of pure potential. Your mind is not a factory that manufactures reality. It is a receiver that tunes into it. The most magnificent creations are not forced into being. They are allowed to emerge one evening, disheartened and weary. Theodore wandered into an old, forgotten museum. In a dimly lit hall, he discovered a strange exhibit, a single black canvas bathed in a soft light. There was no plaque, no explanation, just the dark, empty square as he gazed into its depths. A profound stillness fell over him. His mind, which usually raced with plans and calculations, grew quiet, and in that silence something miraculous happened. From the blackness of the canvas, visions began to emerge, not his own strained designs, but forms of such sublime beauty and intelligence that they took his breath away. He saw architectures that harmonized with nature, structures that healed and elevated the human spirit. He was not thinking them, he was witnessing them. The museum's curator, an old man with eyes that seemed to hold the secrets of the cosmos, approached him quietly. "Most people see only a blank canvas," he said. "You have seen the void, the womb of all creation. Your greatest work is not to design, but to get out of the way and let the universe design through you. This is the great deception of doing it. Keeps you focused on the limited inventory of your own mind, while the infinite storehouse of cosmic intelligence remains untapped when you cease your frantic activity and enter a state of receptive stillness. You become a channel for a creativity far greater than your own. The most profound inventions, the most moving art, the most transformative ideas have never come from the striving ego. They have been received in moments of grace, moments when the doer stepped aside and allowed the being to emerge. The sacred practice of the receptive pause several times throughout your day. Practice the art of stopping completely for just 1 minute. Cease all physical and mental activity. Let go of your to-do lists, your plans, your worries. Simply be present in the silence. Feel the space between your thoughts. This is the fertile void where inspiration is born. You are not trying to get anything from this practice. You are simply creating and opening a crack in the facade of doing through which the universe can whisper its secrets. As you cultivate this practice, you will find that solutions to problems appear effortlessly. Creative ideas surface without warning, and a sense of divine guidance begins to permeate your life. You will learn that true power lies not in pushing forward, but in the sacred pause that allows the universe to lead the way in a land of shimmering deserts and ancient starlit nights. A young woman named Lyra learned the sacred art of bell making. From her grandmother, the old woman taught her that the secret to a bell's perfect tone was not just in the quality of the metal or the precision of the casting, but in its ability to resonate in harmony with its surroundings. A bell that was out of tune with the desert's frequency, she explained, would produce a sound that was jarring and quickly silenced by the vast emptiness. You are a living bell, and the universe is the grand cathedral in which you resonate. Your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs create a unique frequency, a vibrational signature that you broadcast continuously. The law of creation is simple. The universe can only return to you an echo of the song you are singing. This is the law of harmonious resonance. It is the master key that unlocks all other principles of manifestation. You do not attract what you want. You attract what you are. Your life is a perfect reflection of your dominant vibration. If you resonate with fear, you will attract circumstances that validate that fear. If you resonate with gratitude, you will find endless reasons to be grateful. Your work is not to change the world, but to change your tone. Lyra struggled for a long time, trying to force the metal to produce the sound she wanted. She would cast a bell and ring it only to hear a dull thud that died in the desert air. Her grandmother would watch patiently, saying nothing one day. In frustration, Lyra sat in silence and simply listened. She listened to the sound of the wind sweeping across the dunes, the subtle hum of the earth beneath her, the distant cry of a hawk soaring in the infinite blue. She began to feel the desert's unique vibration, its deep, ancient rhythm. Then she returned to her forge and began to work, not from a plan in her head, but from the feeling in her heart. She hummed the desert song. As she poured the molten metal, she let the rhythm of the wind guide her hammer. When she finally struck the finished bell, a tone of such purity and power rang out that it seemed to make the very stars shimmer in response. The sound did not fight the silence. It became one with it. This is the path of mastery that lies before you, to cease your struggle against the universe and to learn to sing in harmony with it. This alignment is not a mental exercise. It is a full-body experience, a shift in your very essence. It is the moment you stop asking the universe for what you want and you start becoming a vibrational match for it, so that it has no choice but to deliver it to you, the sacred practice of harmony. Attunement. Sit or lie down in a comfortable position and bring your awareness to your breath as you inhale. Imagine you are drawing in the energy of the universe, a golden, luminous light. As you exhale, imagine you are releasing your own unique energy out into the world. See these two energies meeting and mingling, creating a harmonious field.
This book, I know, but let's just take our time with this book.
Around you now, bring to mind your desire. Feel its energetic signature without putting words to it. What is its frequency, its texture, its color? Now begin to adjust your own inner vibration to match it. You might do this by changing your breath, by imagining a certain color filling your body, or by generating the precise emotion that corresponds to your desire. Continue this process until you feel no separation between your energy and the energy of your desire. You have become one resonance, one harmonious tone. In that moment, the universe recognizes you as its own, and your desire begins its journey from the unseen into the seen. In a remote monastery, hidden deep within a bamboo forest, lived a master weaver, known only as Anja. Her tapestries were legendary, said to depict not just images, but the very essence of the things they portrayed. A woven flower would fill the room with its fragrance. A tapestry of a stream would seem to murmur with the sound of flowing water. Seekers of wisdom would travel for months to ask for her secret. You have been taught that your power lies in your focus, in your ability to concentrate your thoughts and will upon a desired outcome. But this is only the surface of a much deeper truth. True creative power emerges not from the concentrated mind, but from the silent space between your thoughts. This is the still point, the silent center of the cyclone from which all creation is born. The mind is a tool of the world of form. It can analyze, categorize, and plan, but it cannot create anything truly new. It can only rearrange what it already knows. The still point, however, is a gateway to the formless realm, the infinite field of pure potential, from which all things arise. When you access this space, you are no longer limited by your personal knowledge or experience. You are connected to the infinite intelligence of the universe. One day, a young and ambitious weaver named Kenji arrived at the monastery. He demonstrated his skill to Anja, his hands moving with incredible speed and precision, creating a technically perfect image of a tiger, but the image was lifeless, flat. Anja watched him work, then led him to a small empty room with a single white wall. "Sit here," she instructed, "and weave the tiger without thread." Kenji was bewildered for days. He sat staring at the wall, his mind racing with techniques and patterns, trying to project the image onto the wall with his thoughts. But nothing happened. Finally, exhausted and frustrated, his mind grew quiet. He stopped trying. He simply sat, and in the profound silence that followed, the image of the tiger appeared on the wall, not as a projection, but as a living, breathing presence. Its eyes seemed to hold the wisdom of the ages. Its stripes shimmered with an inner light. Anja entered the room and smiled. "Now you understand," she said. "Creation does not come from the noise of your thinking. It comes from the stillness of your being. This still point of power is available to you in every moment. It is the gap between each breath, the silence between each heartbeat. It is the place you touch when you let go of all effort and simply are. Your task is not to fill this space with more thoughts, more affirmations, more visualizations. Your task is to rest in it, to allow it to inform you, to let its wisdom guide you from this place. Your intentions are not shouted into the void. They are whispered into the very heart of creation. And the universe responds not with an echo, but with a birth. The sacred practice of the still point meditation. Find a quiet and comfortable space and close your eyes. Begin by focusing on your breath, not controlling it, but simply observing its natural rhythm. Now, bring your attention to the tiny pause at the end of each exhale, that moment of complete stillness before the next inhale begins. Do not try to lengthen this pause. Simply notice it. Rest your awareness in that tiny gap with each breath. Allow yourself to sink more deeply into this still point. This is the gateway to the formless realm. Do not expect to see or hear anything. Just be with the silence. As you practice this regularly, you will begin to carry this stillness with you into your daily life. You will find that you can access this point of power even in the midst of chaos. And from this silent center, your life will begin to transform in ways your striving mind could never have conceived. In the grand throne room of a kingdom lost to time sat a queen named Isolde. She ruled not with armies or decrees, but with a silent power that mystified all who witnessed it. When she desired something, she did not command it or request it. She simply held the knowing of it in her being with such absolute conviction that reality itself would rearrange to match her inner state. Her counselors would speak of needing to raise taxes for a new aqueduct. Isolde would simply close her eyes for a moment, and the next day, a visiting dignitary would offer the funds as a gift. Her generals would warn of an approaching enemy army, and Isolde would enter her chambers in silence, and the army would mysteriously change course. You have been taught to believe in what you desire, but this is a child's understanding of creation. Belief is fragile. It requires evidence. It is prone to doubt. Knowing is an entirely different state of being. It is an unshakable certainty that transcends all external circumstances. It is the foundation upon which masters build their reality. When you believe something, you are hoping it will become true. When you know something, you are recognizing a truth that already exists in the unseen realm. This distinction is the difference between asking for a miracle and being the state from which miracles are born. A young scribe in Isolde's court named Alistair was obsessed with understanding the source of her power. He watched her every move documented, her every word, trying to find a pattern, a technique. One day he dared to ask her, "Your Majesty, how do you command such fortune with no apparent effort. Isolde looked at him with eyes that seemed to hold the vastness of the cosmos. "Alistair," she said, "do you believe the sun will rise tomorrow?" "Yes, of course, Your Majesty," he replied. "Do you hope it will rise? Do you pray for it to rise?" Isolde asked. "No," he said, puzzled. "I simply know it will rise." A gentle smile touched Isolde's lips, and that, she said, "is the only magic I possess. This is the power that now awaits your command, to move beyond the fluctuating realm of belief and into the solid ground of absolute knowing. When you know your desire is a fulfilled reality, its manifestation is no longer a question of if, but simply a matter of the natural unfolding of universal law. You do not need to check for signs. You do not need to reinforce your desire with endless affirmations. You simply rest in the certainty of its existence and the universe. A faithful servant to the law of resonance must bring it forth. The sacred practice of the declaration of certainty. Choose one desire you wish to manifest. Now craft a statement that declares it as a present and absolute reality, not a future hope. For example, instead of "I want to be wealthy," your declaration would be "I am the embodiment of infinite abundance," instead of "I hope to find love." It would be "Divine love flows through me as me." Stand before a mirror, look directly into your own eyes, and speak your declaration aloud. Do not speak it as an affirmation you are trying to convince yourself of. Speak it as a fundamental law of your existence. Like declaring that gravity exists, feel the shift in your entire being as you move from the energy of wanting to the energy of knowing. Repeat this practice daily until the feeling of certainty is as natural and unquestionable as the rising of the sun in a valley where a great river flowed to the sea. Lived a farmer named Marcus. Each year he would build strong dams and intricate canals, trying to force the river's water to his fields. His efforts were immense, his days filled with toil, yet the river was unpredictable, sometimes flooding his work, sometimes leaving his canals dry. He was in a constant battle with the very source of life he depended on. You have approached your life in much the same way. You have tried to manage and control the flow of abundance of love, of inspiration, believing that your effort is the key to your success. You have built dams of expectation and canals of specific plans, trying to force the universe to deliver its blessings in the way you deem best. Yet this ancient wisdom reveals a more graceful and powerful way. The art of allowing the universe is a river of infinite good flowing constantly toward you. Your only task is to get out of its way. Allowing is not a passive state of resignation. It is an active state of radical trust. It is the conscious decision to release your grip on how your desires must manifest and to open yourself to receiving them in ways that are far beyond your current comprehension. It is a shift from the limited intelligence of the ego to the infinite wisdom of the cosmos. Downstream from Marcus lived a woman named Clara. Her fields were always lush and green, yet she seemed to work very little. She had built no dams, no complex irrigation systems. Instead, she had simply dug a wide, gentle channel from the riverbank to her land. She did not try to force the water. She simply created an opening and invited it in. One day, Marcus, his own fields parched and cracked, went to Clara in desperation. "What is your secret?" he asked. "How do your fields flourish with so little effort?" Clara led him to the edge of her property and pointed to the simple channel. "I do not command the river," she said. "I make myself receptive to it. This is the profound truth that now stands before you. Your power lies not in making things happen, but in allowing them to happen. Your constant planning, your worrying, your attempts to control every outcome are the very dams that block the flow. You do not need to figure out how your good will come to you. The universe has already devised 1,000,000 pathways, more ingenious than any you could imagine. Your work is simply to become a clear and open channel. the sacred practice of the open palm, find a quiet moment and sit in a comfortable position. Close your eyes and hold your hands in your lap. With the palms facing down, feel the energy of control, of holding on, of trying to manage the world. Now slowly turn your hands over so that your palms face upward, open and receptive. Feel the immediate shift in your energy field. In this posture, you are non-verbally communicating to the universe that you are ready to receive. You are letting go of the need to grasp and control. With your palms open, visualize the blessings you desire flowing into them, not as a result of your effort, but as a natural response to your openness. Stay in this posture for several minutes, breathing deeply and repeating silently to yourself, I am open, I am willing, I am ready to receive. This simple practice reprograms your nervous system, shifting you from a state of striving to a state of grace. From this place of allowing, miracles are not just possible. They are natural. In the high mountains of a forgotten kingdom lived a master bridge builder named Alaric. He was known not for the bridges he built with stone and wood, but for the ones he created with pure thought. It was said that he could see the invisible architecture that connected all things, the energetic pathways that ran between intention and manifestation. You too are a bridge builder, whether you are aware of it or not. With every thought, every belief, you are creating unseen structures that either support your journey or create insurmountable gaps between you and your desires. True alignment is the art of building a powerful invisible bridge between your inner world and your outer reality. This bridge is not constructed from effort or struggle, but from the materials of consciousness itself. Its foundation is your unwavering belief. Its pillars are your clear intentions. Its roadway is your consistent emotional state, and its cables are the threads of your focused attention. When this invisible architecture is sound, the universe has a clear and stable pathway through which to deliver your manifestations. Many people's desires fail to materialize because their inner bridges are weak or incomplete. They may have a strong intention, a single pillar, but it is not supported by congruent emotions or sustained focus. Their bridge collapses before their desires can cross over into physical form. A young apprentice named Alara sought to learn Alaric's secrets. She watched him for months, but he never seemed to do anything. He would simply sit for hours gazing at the chasm where a bridge was needed. One day she asked him, "Master, when will you begin to build?" Alaric smiled faintly. "I have already built it," he replied. "The physical bridge is merely the shadow of the one that is already complete." In my mind, he taught her to see the shimmering energetic form of the bridge before a single stone was laid, to test its strength in her consciousness, to walk across it in her meditations until it was more real to her than the physical world. Only then would he allow the physical construction to begin, for he knew that the outer world was merely a mirror of the inner blueprint. This is the secret of effortless creation. You must complete your creations in the unseen realm first when you build a bridge of such power and clarity. In your consciousness, the universe has no choice but to manifest its physical reflection. It becomes a law of resonance. The physical must conform to the energetic master plan, the sacred practice of sensing the unseen support. Choose one of your desires now. Close your eyes and imagine the vast space between where you are and where that desire is fulfilled. Instead of feeling it as an empty void, begin to sense the invisible structures that are already in place. To support your journey, you may perceive them as bridges of light, pathways of energy, or a network of golden threads. Feel their strength, their stability, their reality. Sense the unseen hands of the universe already at work on your behalf, orchestrating synchronicities, aligning resources, and clearing the path before you walk across this invisible bridge. In your mind's eye, feeling its solid support beneath your every step. Practice this until the unseen support feels more real than any perceived obstacle. You are no longer trying to get to your desire. You are simply walking the bridge that already connects you to it in the heart of a dense and tangled forest. A traveler named Benedict was hopelessly lost. He had a map and a compass, but the path seemed to shift and change before him. Thickets of thorns blocked his way, streams appeared where none were marked, and every step felt like a struggle against the very nature of the forest itself. You have been given a map for your life, the map of logic, of cause and effect, of hard work leading to reward. But in the deeper, mystical forest of reality, this map is often useless. The universe operates on a more subtle and elegant principle, the path of least resistance. This is not the path of laziness or inaction. It is the path of supreme intelligence and efficiency. It is the way of the river that flows around the boulder, rather than trying to smash through it. It is the way of the light that travels in a straight line, taking the most direct route possible. When you are in alignment, your journey through life feels like this. It is a path of ease and flow, where opportunities appear at the right moment, and obstacles seem to melt away before you. But when you are out of alignment, every step is a struggle. Like Benedict in the tangled forest, you are fighting against the natural grain of the universe. Benedict, finally exhausted and despairing, sat down by a stream and surrendered. He let go of his map, his compass, and his desperate need to find his way. As he sat in stillness, he noticed the way the water flowed effortlessly, navigating around rocks and fallen logs. Without struggle, a thought arose in his mind, a whisper from the forest itself. Follow the water. He began to walk alongside the stream, not knowing its destination but trusting its wisdom. The stream led him through clearings he had never seen, past gentle slopes, and eventually to a wide open path that took him directly out of the forest. A wise woman lived at the edge of the woods and saw him emerge. She smiled and said, "The forest was never your enemy. You were simply trying to walk where there was no path." This is the profound shift that awaits you now, to stop trying to forge your own difficult path through sheer force of will, and to start looking for the natural currents that are already flowing in your life. Where do you feel ease? Where do you feel joy? Where do things happen without struggle? These are not random occurrences. They are signposts from the universe, pointing you toward the path of least resistance, your highest path. Your ego may tell you that the easy path is not worthy, that struggle builds character. But this is a lie of the limited mind. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, always chooses the most efficient and graceful way. It does not value struggle. It values alignment, the sacred practice of the ease compass. Take a moment to consider a decision you are facing, or a goal you are pursuing now. Instead of analyzing it with your logical mind, bring your attention to your body and ask two questions. Which path feels like a struggle? Which path feels like ease? Notice the subtle sensations that arise in response to each question. Struggle may feel like a contraction, a tightness, a sense of pushing against a wall. Ease may feel like an expansion, a lightness, a sense of flowing with a current. Make a conscious choice to take one small step in the direction of ease. Even if it defies logic or your conditioned beliefs, trust that this feeling is your internal compass, your direct line to the universe's wisdom, guiding you along the path of least resistance. In a kingdom blanketed by a perpetual gray mist, lived a princess named Lyra. She had been taught by her royal tutors that a leader's duty was to analyze problems, find solutions, and fix what was broken. Her days were filled with meetings and strategies, all aimed at pushing back the encroaching gloom. But for every patch of mist she managed to dissipate, a thicker fog would roll in from another direction. Her kingdom remained a place of solemn duty and quiet despair. You have been conditioned in the same way to see life as a series of problems to be solved, a world of imperfections to be fixed. Your focus has been trained on what is wrong, on what is lacking, on the negative. Yet this very focus is what perpetuates the reality you wish to change. The universe is a mirror. It can only reflect the object of your attention. When you focus on the problem, you amplify the problem's energy. You are in effect telling the universe, give me more of that. One day, an old gardener, a woman whose small hidden courtyard was the only place in the kingdom where the sun seemed to shine, gave Princess Lyra a strange piece of advice. Stop fighting the mist, she said instead. Give your thanks for the single ray of sun that manages to break through. Lyra thought this was foolish advice, but having exhausted all other options, she decided to try it. The next morning, instead of strategizing against the fog, she went out into the courtyard and found a tiny sliver of sunlight on a single rose petal. She knelt and poured her entire heart into a feeling of gratitude for that one small beautiful thing. As she did, a profound stillness settled over her, and to her astonishment, the mist around her began to recede just a little. Each day she continued this practice, finding one small thing to say, a genuine and heartfelt yes to the warmth of a stone, the resilience of a blade of grass, the song of a hidden bird, and with each sacred yes, the mist receded further until her entire kingdom was bathed in a light it had not known for generations. This is the divine power of the sacred. Yes, it is the conscious act of withdrawing your energy from what you do not want and placing it entirely on what you do want, even if it is only present in its smallest form. It is the most powerful act of creation because it aligns you with the frequency of your desire rather than the frequency of the problem. Your attention is the currency of the universe. Where you spend it determines the reality you purchase when you say yes to the good that is already present. However small, you command the universe to expand it. You are shifting from the role of a problem solver to the role of a reality creator, the sacred practice of the sacred. Yes, for the next 24 hours, commit to a radical experiment. Do not complain about, analyze, or try to fix anything that you perceive as wrong in your life. Instead, consciously seek out the smallest evidence of what you do want and give it your full attention and appreciation. If you desire abundance, find one coin and feel immense gratitude for it. If you desire love, notice one act of kindness between strangers and let your heart fill with joy for it. If you desire health, feel the part of your body that is well and give thanks for its vitality. This is not about ignoring problems. It is about starving them of your energy and feeding your desires. Instead, you will be astonished at how quickly your reality begins to rearrange itself when you stop fighting it and start saying yes to the good that is already trying to emerge. In a kingdom on the brink of war lived a warrior named Kael. He was the greatest swordsman in the land. His skill unmatched, his courage unquestioned. He had spent his life honing his strength, believing that his power lay in his ability to fight and to win. As the enemy army gathered at the border, Kael prepared for the battle of his life, training his soldiers relentlessly, planning his strategy down to the last detail. You have been conditioned to believe that your strength lies in your ability to fight, to resist, to overcome. You see life's challenges as battles to be won, and you arm yourself with willpower and determination. Yet you stand at the threshold of a truth that has been whispered by the greatest masters of all traditions. True power is not found in the fight. It is found in surrender. Surrender is not weakness. It is not giving up. It is the ultimate act of strength and wisdom. It is the recognition that there is a power in the universe far greater than your own, and the decision to align with it rather than oppose it. It is the difference between being a soldier fighting a battle and being the wind to which all soldiers must eventually bow. The night before the great battle, Kael went to the temple to pray for victory. There he found the kingdom's high priestess, an ancient woman whose eyes held the peace of eternity. "You pray to win a war," she said, her voice soft but clear. "But the only true victory is to realize there is no war." Kael did not understand. "We must fight," he insisted, "or we will be destroyed." The priestess led him to a large pool of still water. She dropped a single stone into its center and watched the ripples expand. What happens if the water resists? The ripples, she asked. Kael was silent. What happens if you try to cut the water with your sword? The water cannot be defeated, she said, because it does not fight, it yields. It surrounds it, absorbs it, transforms what it touches, not through force, but through its very nature. Kael returned to his camp with a new understanding. The next morning, as the enemy army approached, he did not order his soldiers to attack. Instead, he walked out onto the battlefield, alone and unarmed. He knelt on the ground and bowed his head in a gesture of complete surrender. The enemy general, astonished and confused, halted his advance. He saw no fear in Kael, no trickery, only a profound and unshakable peace. In the face of this unexpected power, the general's own aggression dissolved. He could not fight a man who would not fight back. The war ended before it began, not with a clash of swords, but with a silent act of surrender. This is the power that lies within you, the ability to transmute any conflict, not by winning, but by transcending the fight itself. When you are faced with a challenge, a difficult person, a seemingly impossible situation, your instinct is to resist, to fight back. But this only feeds the conflict with your energy. The path of mastery is to surrender, not to the person or the situation, but to the divine intelligence within it. The sacred surrender ceremony. Identify a situation in your life that feels like a battle. Take a moment to feel all the energy you have been pouring into the fight, the resistance, the anger, the fear. Now visualize yourself standing on a battlefield before this situation. Instead of drawing your sword, take a deep breath and kneel down, bow your head, and speak these words. I surrender this battle. I release my need to win, my need to be right, my need to fight. I surrender this entire situation to the divine, and I trust in a solution that is for the highest good of all. Feel the immense power and peace that floods your being as you perform this act of true strength. You are not giving up. You are stepping into a power so profound that the battle itself can no longer exist in its presence. In the heart of a city that worshipped innovation lived an inventor named Alistair. His workshop was a testament to his tireless mind, filled with complex schematics and half-finished machines. He was driven by a single-minded goal to create something truly new, something the world had never seen yet. For all his effort, his inventions were merely clever variations of things that already existed. He was trapped in a cycle of rearranging the known, unable to break through to the truly original. You have been taught that your greatest contributions will come from your mind, from your ability to think and to reason. But the mind is a limited tool. It can only work with the information it has been given. It cannot access the realm of pure potential from which all true innovation is born. Inspired action is not the product of the thinking mind. It is a directive from the universe itself. It is the sudden insight that arrives in the shower, the inexplicable urge to turn down a certain street, the whisper of a solution that comes in a dream. Anxious action is born from fear, and the need to control it is the ego's attempt to manage reality. It feels like a struggle, a constant pushing against resistance. Inspired action, on the other hand, feels like grace. It is effortless, resonant, and filled with a sense of rightness. It is the universe acting through you. One night, Alistair, having worked himself to the point of collapse, fell asleep at his drafting table. In his dream, he found himself in a vast library where the books had no words, only melodies. He picked up a volume, and as he opened it, a symphony of light and sound filled his being. He did not understand it with his mind. He felt it with his soul. He saw the design for a machine that could draw energy from the very air, a device that would change the world. He awoke with the entire blueprint clear in his mind. He had not invented it. He had received it. From that day on, Alistair's process changed. He spent less time at his drafting table and more time in silent meditation. He learned to quiet his own anxious thoughts and to listen for the whispers of inspiration. His inventions were no longer just clever, They were revolutionary because they were not born from his mind, but from the mind of the cosmos. This is the path that opens before you now to shift from the frantic energy of anxious action to the serene power of inspired action. It requires a new kind of courage, the courage to be still, to wait, to trust that the guidance will come when the time is right. It means letting go of the belief that you have to figure everything out and embracing the knowing that a higher intelligence is already at work. The sacred practice of the intuitive nudge throughout your day. Pay close attention to the subtle impulses that arise within you. The gentle nudge to call a friend you haven't spoken to in years. The sudden desire to visit a particular place. The quiet knowing that you should say yes or no to an opportunity. These are not random thoughts. They are whispers of inspired action when you receive such a nudge. Do not overanalyze it. Do not ask for proof, simply honor it. Take one small step in the direction. It indicates this practice builds your muscle of trust. It trains you to recognize and act on divine guidance. With each nudge you follow, the channel of inspiration becomes clearer and stronger until your entire life becomes a dance of co-creation with the universe. In a time before written maps, travelers were guided by the subtle language of the natural world. The flight of a flock of birds would indicate the direction of a water source. The pattern of stars would reveal the path through a treacherous desert. They did not navigate with logic, but with a deep and intuitive connection to the signs. The universe provided you live in a world that has forgotten this sacred language. You have been taught to trust in data, in plans, in the tangible evidence of your senses. Yet the universe is in constant communication with you, speaking a language of synchronicity and signs. These are not mere coincidences. They are divine affirmations, breadcrumbs on your path, confirming that you are in alignment with your highest good. When you ask the universe for guidance and then step into alignment, it will begin to speak to you. You may see repeating numbers like 1111 or 444, which serve as cosmic winks, reassuring you of your connection. You may hear a song on the radio with lyrics that answer a question you just asked. You may have a chance encounter with a stranger who says the exact thing you need to hear. These signs are the universe's way of saying, yes, you are on the right path. Keep going. A woman named Clara lived a life governed by strict schedules and logical decisions. She had a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and she rarely deviated from them. But her life felt sterile and devoid of magic. One day she read an old book that spoke of living by signs as an experiment. She asked the universe to show her a sign if she should take a new job. She had been offered "Show me a blue butterfly." She requested, feeling foolish as she did so. For the next 3 days she saw no butterflies and decided the experiment had failed on the 4th day. As she sat in a cafe lamenting her predictable life, a small child at the next table came over and handed her a drawing, a crayon masterpiece of a bright blue butterfly. Clara stared at the drawing, her heart pounding. In that moment, her logical world cracked open and a new dimension of reality revealed itself. She took the job, and it led to a life more wonderful than anything she could have planned. Your rational mind may dismiss these signs as wishful thinking, but your soul recognizes their truth. The more you acknowledge them, the more they will appear. The universe delights in this playful communication. It is a dance of call and response. The more you pay attention, the more intricate and beautiful the dance becomes. Your life transforms from a series of calculated steps into a magical treasure hunt where every moment holds the potential for a clue, a message, a signpost from the divine. The sacred practice of the synchronicity log. Dedicate a special journal to be your synchronicity log each day. Record any meaningful coincidences, repeating numbers or signs you encounter. Do not try to interpret them immediately. Simply record them with a sense of wonder and gratitude. At the end of each week review, email your entries, and you will begin to see the patterns, the themes, the clear guidance the universe has been offering you. This practice will retrain you your perception shifting your focus from the mundane to the magical. You will start to see that you are not walking a lonely path, but are being constantly guided, supported, and communicated with by a loving and intelligent universe. In the ancient city of Eldoria, a young merchant named Leo built a thriving business with remarkable speed. Everything he touched seemed to turn to gold. His ventures prospered, his relationships flourished, and he moved through the world with an air of unshakable confidence. His peers watched with a mixture of awe and envy, attributing his success to luck or some secret strategy, but they were mistaken. You have learned to align your energy to receive guidance and to act on inspiration, but now you must learn the power of the aligned. No, true mastery is not just about knowing what to say yes to. It is about having the clarity and courage to say no to everything that is not in perfect alignment with your highest vision. Every time you say yes to something that feels slightly off, a business partner who doesn't resonate, a project born of obligation, a relationship that drains your energy, you dilute your creative power. You create a leak in your energetic container, and the universe, which responds to clarity, gets a mixed signal. The result is a reality that is a mixture of what you want and what you have settled for. The power of the aligned. No is one of the most guarded secrets of the truly successful. It is the discerning heart that refuses to compromise its vision for temporary gain or to avoid discomfort. It is the understanding that a no spoken from a place of truth is more powerful than a yes spoken from a place of fear. Leo's secret was simple. He had learned to listen to his inner compass. If a deal, however profitable, felt heavy or constricting in his body, he would walk away without hesitation. His friends called him foolish for turning down such opportunities. But Leo understood a deeper law. He knew that by saying no to the good, he was creating space for the divine. The universe abhors a vacuum. When you bravely refuse what is not a vibrational match, you create an energetic void that the universe must fill with something of a higher frequency. A woman named Isabella, a talented artist, was offered a prestigious commission to paint a portrait for a wealthy but cruel nobleman. Her mind told her to accept. It was a great honor, and the pay was extraordinary, but her heart felt a deep and resounding no. She struggled with the decision for days, fearing she was throwing away the opportunity of a lifetime. Finally, she trusted her inner guidance and politely declined the commission. The nobleman was furious and her friends were bewildered. But the very next day, a messenger arrived from the queen, who had heard of Isabella's integrity. The queen offered her a commission to paint a series of murals in the royal palace, a project that not only brought her immense wealth but also deep fulfillment and joy. Her courageous no had opened the door to a divine yes, the sacred practice of the discerning heart. Before making any significant decision, take a moment to be still and quiet your mind. Bring the opportunity or choice into your awareness. Now bring your attention to your heart. Center, ask your heart a simple question. Is this for my highest good? Wait for the answer. It will not come as a logical thought, but as a physical sensation. A yes will feel expansive, light, and joyful. A no will feel like a contraction, a heaviness, or a sense of dread. Learn to trust this first subtle sensation above all the noise of your mind. Practice this with small decisions at first, and as your trust in your heart's wisdom grows, you will find the courage to apply it to the most important choices in your life, creating a reality that is in perfect alignment with your soul's true desire. In a temple carved from living rock lived an order of healers who possessed a remarkable gift. They did not use herbs or potions or even touch their patients to facilitate healing. They had mastered the art of using their own bodies as divine barometers capable of detecting and transforming the subtle energetic imbalances that underlie all physical disease. You have been taught to see your body as a physical machine, separate from your consciousness, a vessel that is prone to breakdown and decay. But your body is a sacred and intelligent instrument, a highly sensitive receiver and transmitter of energy. It is constantly giving you feedback about your state of alignment with the universe. Every ache, every pain, every sensation of vitality or fatigue is not a random occurrence. It is a message. Your body is your most honest and immediate guide on the path of mastery. When you are in a state of alignment with your highest truth, your body feels light, vibrant, and filled with energy. When you are out of alignment, entertaining thoughts of fear, doubt, or resentment, your body will signal this through tension, discomfort, or illness. It is a flawless feedback system designed to keep you on the path of your soul's evolution. A young apprentice in the temple named Alara struggled to learn this art. She tried to think her way into healing her patients, analyzing their symptoms and applying mental techniques. Her master, an old woman with skin like wrinkled parchment, watched her for many weeks. "Stop thinking, Alara," she said one day, her voice a gentle whisper. "Feel." Instead, she taught Alara to sit in the presence of a patient and bring her awareness entirely into her own body. Where does my body feel contracted when I think of this person's illness? Where does it feel heavy or cold? These sensations, she explained, were not her own, but a sympathetic resonance with the patient's energy field. By finding the corresponding imbalance within her own body and consciously filling that area with light and love, she could facilitate a healing in the patient without ever touching them. Alara learned that her body was a map of the universe, a microcosm that perfectly mirrored the macrocosm. This same power resides within you. Your physical sensations are a direct language from the divine. When you feel a sudden wave of joy for no apparent reason, it is a confirmation that you are aligned with an incoming blessing. When you feel a knot in your stomach before a business meeting, it is a clear signal to proceed with caution. Your body knows the truth long before your conscious mind does. Your task is to learn to listen to its subtle whispers before they become desperate shouts. The sacred practice of the bodily scan for alignment several times a day. Take a moment to scan your body from head to toe with your awareness. What sensations are present? Is there tightness in your shoulders, a fluttering in your chest, a sense of warmth in your heart? Do not judge or label these sensations as good or bad. Simply notice them as pure information. Ask your body, what message does this sensation have for me? Listen for the answer. It may come as a thought, an image, or a feeling. With practice, you will develop a deep and trusting relationship with your body's intelligence. It will become your most reliable guide, your personal oracle, helping you navigate your life with grace and wisdom, alerting you to misalignment and celebrating your moments of perfect harmony with the universal flow. In a land where joy was considered a frivolous distraction, lived a village of people whose lives were marked by duty and solemnity. They worked hard, they were responsible, but a gray pall of seriousness hung over everything they did. Their crops grew, but without vibrancy. Their homes were sturdy, but without warmth. They had forgotten the most powerful frequency in the universe, the frequency of joy. You have been taught that spirituality is serious work, that manifestation requires disciplined focus, and that joy is a reward to be earned after the hard work is done. This is the greatest lie that has kept humanity in chains. Joy is not the result of success. Joy is the cause of it. It is not the destination. It is the fuel that powers the journey. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, is drawn to the vibration of joy, like a moth to a flame. When you are in a state of genuine, unadulterated joy, you are in the highest state of alignment possible. In this state, manifestation is not just possible, it is inevitable. Your joy is a command to the universe, saying, "Give me more of this." One day, a traveling musician, a woman with laughter in her eyes and flowers in her hair, arrived in the solemn village. She did not preach or teach. She simply sat in the center of the village square and began to play her lute. Her music was not complex or technically brilliant, but it was infused with a pure and infectious joy. At first, the villagers watched her with suspicion, but soon a small child began to tap its foot. Then an old woman began to sway. Before long, the entire village was caught up in the music, dancing and laughing for the first time in generations. As the sun set, the musician departed, leaving behind a village transformed. The people looked at each other with new eyes, their faces alive with the light that had long been extinguished. The next morning they noticed something miraculous. Their crops seemed greener, their homes felt warmer, even the air seemed to shimmer with a new vitality. Their collective shift into the frequency of joy had literally transformed their reality. This is the power you are now invited to reclaim. Your joy is not a luxury. It is a sacred responsibility. It is the most potent creative force you possess. Do not postpone your joy until your desires manifest. Manifest your desires by choosing joy now. Your rational mind will tell you that you have no reason to be joyful, that your problems are too great. But this is the voice of the old paradigm, the one you are leaving behind. A sacred practice of the 5-minute joy infusion. At least once a day, set aside 5 minutes for the sole purpose of cultivating joy. Put on your favorite piece of music and dance with abandon. Watch a funny video that makes you laugh out loud. Recall a memory that fills your heart with pure happiness. The purpose of this practice is not to solve your problems, but to change your frequency. For 5 minutes, you are deliberately tuning your energetic dial to the vibration of joy. Do not be surprised if during or immediately after this practice, a solution to a long-standing problem suddenly appears or an unexpected opportunity arises. This is the universe responding to your new signal. You have broadcast the frequency of joy, and the cosmos has no choice but to answer in kind. In the heart of a vast and ancient library, a scholar named Benedict spent his life in search of a single elusive formula, the one that would solve the great paradox of his time, a problem that had stumped the wisest minds for centuries. He filled volumes with complex equations. He consulted with sages from every land. He pushed his intellect to its absolute limit. Yet the solution remained hidden just beyond his grasp. You have been taught that you must find the answers to your problems, that you are responsible for devising the solutions to your challenges. This belief places a tremendous burden upon your limited conscious mind. It assumes that the answer must come from the inventory of what you already know, but the universe operates from a field of infinite solutions, a quantum realm where every possible answer to every possible problem already exists. Simultaneously, your task is not to create a solution. Your task is to align with the one that is already waiting for you one night. Benedict, having exhausted every avenue of thought, surrendered. He went to the center of the library, cleared a large table, and placed a single piece of blank parchment upon it. He lit a candle, and then he spoke to the problem itself. Not as an adversary, but as a question he was releasing to a higher intelligence. "I do not have the answer," he whispered, his voice filled with a humility he had never known before. "I release you to the infinite mind of the universe, and I trust that the perfect solution exists and will be revealed to me." He then went to sleep for the first time in years. His mind was not racing. It was still and empty, a receptive vessel in the middle of the night. He woke with a start. The entire formula was ablaze in his mind, not in pieces, but as a complete and elegant whole. It was a solution so simple and so beautiful that he wept at its perfection. He had not found it. He had received it. This is the sacred art of releasing the problem to the field. When you are faced with a seemingly insurmountable challenge, your instinct is to focus on it, to wrestle with it, to force a solution. But this intense focus on the problem only energizes the problem. It locks you into the frequency of the problem and makes the solution invisible to you. The path of mastery is to consciously withdraw your energy from the problem and to place your trust in the field of infinite solutions. It is to acknowledge your own limitation and to call upon the limitless intelligence of the cosmos. This is not an act of giving up, it is an act of profound faith and power. The sacred practice of releasing the problem to the field. Take a challenge that has been consuming your energy. Write it down on a piece of paper in as much detail as possible. Feel the weight of it, the frustration of it. Now go to a place in nature, a park, a garden, or by a body of water. Hold the piece of paper in your hands and read the problem aloud one last time. Then, with a clear and conscious intention, say these words. I release this problem and its solution to the infinite wisdom of the universe. I know that the perfect answer already exists, and I am now open to receive it. Then either bury the paper in the earth or release it into the water, symbolizing your complete surrender of the problem. As you walk away, do not look back. Feel the lightness in your being, the spaciousness in your mind. You have cleared the channel. The solution is now on its way in a small, cluttered attic. An artist named Genevieve stared at a blank canvas surrounded by masterpiece paintings of the past. She had studied every technique, every brushstroke of the great masters. She had filled her mind with their genius, yet her own creativity felt blocked, paralyzed by the weight of her knowledge. Her environment was a reflection of her inner state, cluttered with the old, filled with the ghosts of what had already been done, leaving no space for the new to emerge. You have been accumulating knowledge, practices, and beliefs. On your spiritual journey, you have filled your inner world with the wisdom of others, but now you stand at a critical threshold to move to the next level of creation. You must not add more, you must create space. The universe abhors a vacuum. This is not just a physical law, it is a profound spiritual truth. When you consciously clear out the old, the stagnant, the misaligned, from your life you create an energetic void that the universe must rush to fill. This applies to your physical environment, your relationships, your beliefs, and your emotions. Clearing your physical space is one of the most powerful and overlooked acts of manifestation. When your home is cluttered, your finances are disorganized, or your workspace is chaotic, it creates a constant low-level energetic drag that impedes the flow of new good into your life. Your environment is not separate from you. It is an extension of your energy field. One day, Genevieve, in a fit of frustration, began clearing her attic. She threw out old sketches. She donated books she had already read. She scrubbed the floors and opened the windows to the fresh air as she worked. She felt a corresponding shift within her own mind. The clutter of old ideas began to dissipate. The weight of comparison lifted when the attic was finally clear, empty, and filled with light. She stood before her blank canvas and for the first time felt not pressure but pure possibility. She picked up a brush and a style that was uniquely her own, began to flow onto the canvas with an effortless grace. This is the power. You are now invited to harness. Your desire for a new reality must be matched by your willingness to create space for it. You cannot pour fresh water into a cup that is already full. You cannot welcome a new relationship if your heart is cluttered with the ghosts of the past. You cannot receive new abundance if your life is filled with things you no longer use or love. The sacred practice of the sacred space. Consecration. Choose one area of your physical environment that feels stagnant or cluttered. It could be a closet, a drawer, your desk, or your entire home. Set aside a specific time to clear this space. Do not just tidy it consciously. Release each item that no longer serves your highest vision as you let go of each object. Say thank you for your service, and I release you now to create space for the new to bless another. Once the space is physically clear, consecrate it with your intention. Light a candle or incense and state aloud, I consecrate this space as a vacuum for divine good. I have created the space and I now welcome the new abundance, the new love, the new inspiration that is flowing to me now. Feel the power of this empty, receptive space. Feel its magnetic pull on the universe. You have not just cleaned a room, you have performed a powerful act of magic. You have made yourself ready to receive in a world of endless horizons. A young seed lay dormant in the dark earth. It held within it the blueprint of a mighty oak tree, but it had no concept of what it would become. It did not know the shape of its leaves, the texture of its bark, or the height it would one day reach. It knew only the darkness and the silent pull of an unseen force. You have been taught to plan your future, to set clear goals, to know exactly where you are going. But you are now entering a realm of creation where the greatest magic happens. In the beauty of not knowing, uncertainty is not a state to be feared. It is the fertile ground of all possibility. It is the canvas upon which the universe paints its greatest masterpieces. When you insist on knowing every step of the journey, you limit the universe to the pathways your mind can conceive. You close yourself off to the infinite detours of delight, the miraculous shortcuts and the breathtaking vistas that lie just beyond your current field of vision. The seed in the earth does not worry about its future. It does not create a 5-year plan for its growth. It simply trusts in the process. It surrenders to the mystery of its own unfolding. And in that surrender, its magnificent destiny is realized. A woman named Eleanor had her life mapped out with meticulous precision. She knew which career she would have, which city she would live in, which man she would marry. But life seemed to have other plans. One by one, her carefully laid plans crumbled. A corporate downsizing eliminated her career path. A family illness required her to move to a different city. The man she thought she would marry fell in love with someone else. Eleanor was devastated. She felt lost, adrift in a sea of uncertainty. But in the emptiness of her collapsed future, something new began to stir, freed from the confines of her own expectations. She started to follow the subtle whispers of her heart. She took a pottery class on a whim. She visited a small coastal town she had always been drawn to. She started spending time with people who nourished her soul, not just those who fit into her plans. Slowly, a new life began to emerge, a life far richer, more joyful and more authentic than anything she could have ever planned. She became a celebrated potter living in the coastal town she loved, married to a man whose soul danced with hers. She had to lose the life she had planned to find the life that was waiting for her. This is the courage that is now asked of you, the courage to embrace the unknown, to release your grip on certainty, and to trust that a divine intelligence is weaving a tapestry far more beautiful than your mind can imagine. Your desire to know is the ego's desire for control. Your willingness not to know is the soul's surrender to grace, the sacred practice of the uncertainty. Embrace for one full day, release the need to know what comes next. Do not make plans, do not check your schedule more than necessary. When your mind races ahead to the future, gently bring it back to the present moment. If a feeling of anxiety arises, breathe into it and whisper, "I trust in the mystery, I am safe in the not knowing." Notice how life continues to unfold perfectly without your constant management. Observe the unexpected synchronicities, the delightful surprises that emerge when you create space for them. This practice is a powerful declaration to the universe that you are ready to move beyond the limitations of your own planning and to step into the magical flow of divine orchestration. In the heart of a kingdom perpetually battered by storms stood a lighthouse on a rocky promontory. Its keeper, an old man named Silas, was a figure of legend. It was said that his light had never once flickered. No matter how fierce the tempest, you have learned to align your energy and to trust in the flow. But now you must face the great test of mastery, maintaining your alignment in the midst of chaos. The universe will inevitably send storms into your life, not to punish you, but to test the strength of your inner foundation. It is easy to feel peaceful on a calm day. It is easy to trust when all is going well. But can you hold your center when the winds of change howl and the waves of circumstance crash against you? This is the threshold between the student and the master. Silas's secret was not in the strength of the lighthouse's structure, but in the unwavering core of his own being. While the storm raged outside, he would go to the center of the tower, to a small circular room where the air was always still there. He would light a single candle and focus his entire attention on its small, steady flame. He did not fight the storm, he did not even acknowledge it. He simply became one with the stillness of the flame. His own inner state became so stable, so unshakable, that it projected itself onto the lighthouse's beacon. The light did not just shine, it radiated a profound peace that seemed to calm the very waters around it. A young sailor who was once saved by Silas's light during a terrible storm later asked him for his secret. "My ship was being torn apart," he said. "But when I saw your light, a strange calm came over me, and I was able to navigate to safety." Silas looked at the young man with his clear, deep eyes. "The light you saw was not in the lantern," he said, "it was in me. This is the power you are now called to cultivate, to build an inner sanctuary of such profound peace and certainty that no external storm can touch it. This is your unwavering core, your still point in a spinning world. When you can maintain this state, regardless of circumstances, you become a true lighthouse. You do not just navigate your own storms, you become a beacon of hope and stability for others." The sacred practice of the inner anchor. Meditation. Find a comfortable position and close your eyes. Imagine a powerful anchor deep within your core, at your solar plexus. Feel its weight, its stability, its unshakable connection to the center of the earth. Now visualize a storm raging around you. See the winds of chaos, the rains of doubt, the waves of fear. But feel your inner anchor holding you fast and steady. You are not resisting the storm, you are simply anchored beyond its reach. Your outer self may sway with the winds, but your core remains in profound stillness. Practice this meditation daily. Especially when you feel your life is becoming chaotic with time, you will find that this inner anchor becomes your natural state. You will be able to walk through any storm with a serene heart, knowing that your true self is untouchable, unshakable, and eternally at peace. In a quiet monastery garden, a poet named Kenji sat before a blank page. His mind empty, his heart open. He had spent years studying the craft of poetry, mastering form and meter, but his best work never came from effort. It came in moments of grace, when he would get out of the way and allow the poem to write itself. You have reached a stage in your journey where the very concept of manifestation must now evolve. You have moved from striving to allowing, from doing to being. Now, you must step into the realm of effortless creation. This is a state of such profound alignment that your desires no longer need to be consciously manifested. They simply emerge as the natural expression of who you have become. It is the point where the creator and the creation become one, where there is no longer a sense of a separate self, trying to create something, but only a universal intelligence flowing through you. Into form, think of a master musician who no longer thinks about the notes, but simply becomes the music, or a master dancer whose body is moved by a force beyond their own will. This is not a loss of self, but an expansion of self. Into the divine. In this state, there is no effort, no struggle, no technique. There is only flow. A woman named Lyra, a potter, discovered this state by accident. She had been trying for weeks to create a vase of perfect symmetry, but her hands felt clumsy, her mind critical. One day she gave up in frustration and simply began to play with the clay. With no goal in her mind, she let her hands move as they wished, following a deeper intuition. As she did so, her ego stepped aside and a higher intelligence took over. The clay seemed to shape itself beneath her touch, forming a vessel of such exquisite beauty and harmony that it took her breath away when it was finished. She knew she had not created it. She had witnessed its creation. This is the state of effortless creation that awaits you. It is the reward for all your work of alignment and surrender. It is the universe's gift to you for trusting its process. It is the moment you graduate from being a student of reality to being a co-creator with it. You will find that ideas flow to you with startling clarity. Solutions to problems appear as if from nowhere. Your actions become imbued with a grace and power that is not your own. You are no longer a small self, trying to make things happen. You are a conduit for the creative force of the universe itself. The sacred practice of the channeling practice. Find a creative medium that you enjoy. It could be writing, painting, music, dance, or even cooking. Set aside a time when you will not be disturbed before you begin. Perform a simple ritual to signal your intention to be a channel. You might say, I am now an open channel for divine creativity to flow through me. Then begin your creative activity with no plan, no goal, no expectation. Simply allow yourself to be moved by the inspiration that arises. Do not judge or edit what comes through. Just let it flow. If you are writing, let the words pour onto the page. If you are painting, let the colors choose themselves. If you are dancing, let your body be moved by an unseen rhythm. Practice this regularly, and you will strengthen your connection to the creative flow. You will learn to trust the guidance that comes through you, and your entire life will become a masterpiece of effortless creation. In the heart of a kingdom that shimmered with an ethereal light, ruled a monarch known only as the sovereign. Their kingdom was a perfect reflection of their own inner state. When the sovereign's heart was filled with peace, the kingdom enjoyed tranquility and harmony. When the sovereign focused on abundance, the kingdom's granaries would overflow. The people of the kingdom did not see their ruler as a person, but as a living mirror through which the divine expressed itself. You have now arrived at the great mirror, a stage of mastery where your external reality becomes an instantaneous and flawless reflection of your internal state of alignment. There is no longer a time lag between your inner shift and its outer manifestation. The moment you change your inner frequency, the mirror of the world reflects that change back to you. This is a place of great power and profound responsibility for you. You realize that nothing in your life is random or external. Every person, every event, every circumstance is a message from your own soul reflected back to you for your learning and evolution. When you encounter a challenge, you no longer see it as an obstacle, but as a reflection of a part of you that is out of alignment. When you experience a great joy, you recognize it as a reflection of your own inner harmony with the divine. A man named Arthur, who had reached this stage of mastery, would spend each morning gazing into a perfectly still pool of water. He did not look for his physical reflection. He looked for the subtle, energetic patterns that the water revealed. These patterns were a mirror of his inner world, and they showed him what reality he was creating. For that day, if he saw turbulence, he knew he needed to find his inner stillness. If he saw murkiness, he knew he needed to find his inner clarity. By adjusting his own consciousness, he could watch the reflection in the water change in real time, and he knew that his outer world would follow suit. Your life is this same magical pool of water. It is constantly showing you the state of your own consciousness. Your only task is to learn to read the reflection without judgment and to make the necessary inner adjustments. When you live from this place of awareness, you are no longer a victim of circumstances. You are the master of the mirror. You understand that to change the reflection, you must not try to manipulate the water. You must change the one who is looking into it. This is the essence of sovereign creation. To take complete ownership of your reality, knowing that it is a perfect and loving feedback from the universe, guiding you back to your own divine center. The sacred practice of reality reflection, scrying at the end of each day. Take a few moments for quiet reflection. Review the events of your day not as a series of random happenings, but as a series of reflections. Ask yourself, what was my reality reflecting back to me today? What was the underlying theme or message? If you experienced conflict, where was the conflict within me? If you experienced unexpected kindness, where was the kindness within me? Do not blame or judge yourself for these reflections. See them as valuable information, as loving messages from your soul. This practice will transform you from a passive experiencer of life to a conscious interpreter of its divine language. You will begin to see the hidden harmony in all things, and you will walk through the world as a master who understands that All of life is a sacred and beautiful reflection of the self. In the final stages of the alchemical process, the alchemist watches as the disparate elements in the crucible, having been purified and transmuted, finally merge into one perfect substance. The philosopher's stone. At this moment there is no longer lead, and there is no longer the agent that transforms it. There is only gold. You are now approaching this same sacred dissolution, the dissolution of the separate self, the ego that has been on this journey of seeking and becoming. As you deepen into mastery, you begin to realize a truth so profound that it can only be experienced, not spoken. You are not the one who is aligning with the universe. You are the universe aligning with itself. The sense of a separate doer, a small self that is trying to manifest something, begins to dissolve like a drop of rain falling into the ocean. At first, this can feel disorienting, even frightening. The ego, which has defined itself by its struggles, its desires, and its achievements, resists this dissolution. But beyond this fear lies a state of liberation and power so immense that it is beyond the ego's comprehension. A hermit who lived in a cave high in the mountains was visited by a young seeker who asked, "Master, how can I become one with the divine?" The hermit smiled and pointed to a stream flowing past the cave. "Watch the water," he said. "The stream flows to the river flows to the sea flows into the ocean. At what point does the drop of water stop being a drop and start being the ocean?" The seeker sat by the stream for days, watching the water. Finally, he understood there was never a moment of becoming. The drop was always the ocean, simply experiencing itself as a drop. This is the final veil to be lifted. The illusion that you are separate from the creative force you have been seeking to align with. You are not a part of the universe. You are the universe experiencing itself in human form. When this realization dawns, your entire relationship with creation changes. You no longer need to align because you are alignment. You no longer need to manifest because you are the field of infinite manifestation itself. Your desires are no longer personal whims. They become universal impulse moving through you. Your actions are no longer your own. They become the universe acting through you. The sacred practice of merging with the all. Find a place in nature where you feel a deep connection. Sit and close your eyes. Begin by feeling your connection to the earth. Beneath you, feel your body as part of the earth, made of the same elements. Now expand your awareness to include the air you are breathing. Feel the seamless exchange between your inner and outer atmosphere. There is no true separation. Expand further to include the plants, the animals, the entire ecosystem. Feel yourself as a cell in the vast living body of the planet. Continue to expand your awareness beyond the earth, to the solar system, to the galaxy, to the entire cosmos, until your sense of a separate self dissolves completely into the infinite expanse of being. Rest in this state of oneness. There is nothing to do, nothing to achieve, just the pure bliss of being. You are not a small self looking at the universe. You are the universe looking at itself through your eyes. When you return to your ordinary awareness, bring this sense of oneness with you. You will walk through the world with a new sense of power and peace, knowing that you are never alone, never separate, but always and forever a part of the magnificent whole. In the heart of a vast and ancient desert stood a single magnificent temple. It was said that this temple held the answer to life's greatest mystery. Pilgrims would travel for years across treacherous landscapes to reach its gates, hoping to find the ultimate truth within. But the temple had a guardian, a wise and enigmatic figure who would meet each pilgrim at the entrance. "What do you seek?" the guardian would ask. "I seek the secret of enlightenment," the pilgrim might say, "or the path to abundance, or the source of true love." The guardian would listen patiently, then reply, "The temple you have traveled so far to find is the one you left behind, your own heart. You have been on a profound journey, a pilgrimage of the soul. You have sought the secrets of alignment, of manifestation, of creation. You have learned the principles and practiced the rituals, but now you arrive at the final destination only to discover that it is the place from which you started. This is the end of seeking it, is the realization that there was never anything to find, only something to remember. You were never separate from the power you sought. You were never lacking the abundance you desired. You were never unworthy of the love you craved. You were simply a divine being who had temporarily forgotten its own magnificence. The journey was not to gain something new, but to shed the layers of illusion that obscured the truth of who you have always been. A woman named Ilara spent her entire life searching for a legendary lost garden, a place of perfect peace and beauty. She followed ancient maps, deciphered cryptic clues, and overcame countless obstacles on her quest. One day, after a lifetime of searching, she found herself back in the small village where she was born, tired and disheartened. She sat in the overgrown garden behind her childhood home. As she sat there, a sense of profound peace washed over her. The light seemed to dance on the leaves in a familiar way. The scent of the wildflowers stirred a deep memory, and she realized with a start that this was it. This was the garden she had been searching for all along. It had been here waiting for her the entire time. Her seeking had taken her on a grand adventure around the world, only to lead her back to the treasure that was in her own backyard. Your journey is no different. You have explored the outer realms of knowledge and experience, only to arrive at the quiet sanctuary of your own being. The seeking is over, not because you have failed, but because you have succeeded so profoundly that the need to seek has dissolved. You are not finding the answer. You are becoming the answer. There is nowhere else to go, nothing else to learn. The only practice that remains is to live from this place of knowing, to embody the truth you have uncovered in every moment of your life. The sacred practice of the homecoming. Find a time to be in complete silence and solitude. Bring your journey to mind, all the seeking, all the striving, all the learning. Honor it all. Feel gratitude for every step of the path that has led you to this moment. Now consciously declare, the search is over. I have arrived. I am home. Feel the profound relief and peace that comes with this declaration. There is no more striving, no more chasing, no more needing, just the simple, quiet joy of being. Rest in this feeling. Let it permeate every cell of your body. This is your true nature. This is your eternal state. This is the secret you were seeking, and it was you all along. In a world where everyone was searching for their purpose, lived a woman named Serafina. She tried everything. She took personality tests. She consulted with career counselors. She traveled to distant lands seeking a calling, but her purpose remained elusive, a frustrating and distant concept. You have been taught that your purpose is something you must find, a hidden treasure that you must uncover through diligent searching. But this is a misunderstanding that creates immense struggle and anxiety. Your purpose is not a destination to be reached. It is a quality of being to be expressed. It is not what you do. It is the energy you bring to what you do. The universe does not have a specific job title in mind for you. It has a unique frequency that it wishes to express through you. And this frequency is always revealed through the pathway of your greatest joy, what you love to do, what makes you feel most alive, what makes you lose track of time. This is not a frivolous distraction. It is your soul's compass pointing you directly to your purpose. When you follow your joy, you are not being selfish. You are being of the highest service to the world, because you are bringing your unique divine frequency into full expression. Serafina, after years of fruitless searching, gave up. She decided to stop looking for her purpose and to simply start doing what she loved. She had always adored working with clay, so she spent her days in a small studio losing herself in the tactile joy of shaping earth and water. She had no plan to sell her creations, no desire to become famous. She was simply following her bliss. But a strange thing happened. People who visited her studio reported feeling a profound sense of peace and healing in the presence of her pottery. They were not just buying pots. They were buying the energy of joy and serenity. that she had infused into them. Soon her small studio became a beacon of light in her community. People came not just for her art, but for the feeling they got from being around her. Serafina had not found her purpose. Her purpose had found her the moment she stopped searching and started living it. This is the paradox of purpose that awaits your discovery. Release the frantic search. Cease the mental gymnastics of trying to figure it all out, and simply turn your attention to what brings you joy. What are you doing when you feel most like yourself? What activities make your heart sing? These are not clues to your purpose. They are your purpose in action. Your purpose is not one single thing. It is the golden thread of joy that you weave through all the things you do. You can express your purpose while washing the dishes, while talking to a friend, while walking in nature. It is a way of being in the world that naturally aligns you with the people, opportunities, and circumstances that allow for its fullest expression. The sacred practice of the purpose allowance. Take a piece of paper and make a list of at least 10 things that bring you genuine joy. They can be small things or big things, from sipping a cup of tea to traveling the world. Look at this list. This is not a list of hobbies. It is a map of your soul's purpose. Choose one item from your list and commit to doing it today, not as a reward or a break from your real life, but as the most important work you can do. As you engage in this activity, do it with your full presence and intention, knowing that you are not just having fun, you are actively embodying and expressing your divine purpose. As you consistently follow the trail of your joy, you will find that your life begins to arrange itself. Around it, opportunities will appear that allow you to do more of what you love. You will attract people who resonate with your joyful energy. Your life will become a masterpiece of purposeful living. Not because you found your purpose, but because you allowed your purpose to live through you. In a kingdom where wealth was measured in gold coins and precious jewels, lived a man named Silas. He had amassed a great fortune, but his heart was empty and his nights were sleepless. He was surrounded by things but starved of the richness of being. You have been conditioned to believe that wealth is an external acquisition, something to be accumulated and stored. But this is the illusion that keeps so many in a state of perpetual poverty regardless of their bank balance. True wealth is not what you have. It is what you are. It is a state of consciousness, a deep and abiding sense of abundance that permeates your very being. When you cultivate this inner state of wealth, external riches become a natural and effortless byproduct. A mere reflection of the treasure you have found within the universe does not respond to your bank account. It responds to your consciousness of abundance. You can be a millionaire and live in a constant state of lack, fearing loss and scarcity. Or you can have very little and live in a state of profound wealth, feeling the richness of every moment, the abundance of every breath. Silas in his misery sought the counsel of a sage who lived in the mountains. The sage owned nothing but a simple robe and a wooden bowl, yet he radiated a joy and contentment that Silas had never known. "What is your secret?" Silas asked. "How can you be so rich with nothing?" The sage smiled and picked up a single smooth stone from the stream. "This stone," he said, "is richer than your entire treasury." Silas scoffed. "How can a worthless rock be richer than my gold?" Because, he replied, "I see the universe in this stone. I see the eons of its creation, the dance of its atoms, the beauty of its form. You see your gold only as a means to acquire more things. Your vision is impoverished, not your vaults." This is the truth that can set you free. The wealth of being is found in the quality of your perception. It is the ability to see the infinite value in the ordinary, to feel the abundance in the simple, to recognize the treasure that is the present moment. When you live from this place, you are never poor. You are a king, in a kingdom of your own making, a kingdom where every moment is a jewel and every breath is a golden coin. This state of being is a powerful magnet for material wealth. When you no longer need things to feel wealthy, things are naturally drawn to you. It is the paradox of non-attachment. You receive most when you need least. The sacred practice of the abundance of being. Throughout your day, practice seeing the world through the eyes of wealth consciousness as you drink a glass of water. Feel the immense abundance of clean life, giving liquid, a treasure that much of the world lacks. As you walk outside, feel the richness of the air, the incredible wealth of oxygen that sustains you with every breath. Look at a flower and see not just a plant, but a masterpiece of divine artistry, a priceless jewel of nature's creation. As you interact with people, see not their flaws or their roles, but the infinite treasure of consciousness that resides within them. This is not a mental exercise. It is a rewiring of your perception. It is a training to see the world as it truly is, an infinitely abundant and miraculous place. As you cultivate this wealth of being, you will find that your need for external things diminishes, and paradoxically, your ability to attract them increases. You will have shifted from a consciousness of getting to a consciousness of being and in being. All things are given in a garden of extraordinary beauty, where every flower bloomed in its perfect season lived a young gardener named Ilara. She was impatient. She wanted the roses to bloom in spring and the tulips to blossom in autumn. She would try to force the buds open with her fingers. She would give them extra water and sunlight, trying to rush their natural cycle. But her efforts were in vain. The buds she forced would wither and die. The plant she rushed would grow weak and spindly. You have been living with a deep-seated impatience, a belief that your desires should manifest on your timeline. You have set deadlines for the universe. You have grown frustrated with what you perceive as delays, but you are like the young gardener trying to force a flower to bloom before its time. There is a divine grace in the universe's timing, a wisdom that far surpasses your own limited perspective. Divine timing is not a passive waiting. It is an active trust in the perfect unfolding of all things. It is the knowing that every element of your manifestation is being orchestrated in a sublime sequence that is for your highest good. What you perceive as a delay may be the universe waiting for you to be truly ready to receive your desire. It may be clearing old energy patterns that would contaminate your new reality. It may be aligning other people and circumstances to create a foundation that will sustain your success for the long term. One day, an old master gardener visited Ilara's garden. He saw her frantic efforts and her withering plants. He said nothing but simply sat under a large oak tree and watched the seasons change. He watched the seeds sprout in their own time, the buds form when they were ready, and the flowers open in a glorious display. When their moment arrived, Ilara, finally exhausted from her struggle, sat down beside him. "You cannot command the seasons," he said gently, "but you can learn to dance with them. You cannot force a flower to bloom, but you can provide the perfect conditions for it to do so, and then trust in its innate wisdom to know its own perfect timing. This is the mastery that is now available to you, to release your attachment to the when and to fall into a deep and abiding trust in the how, where your only work is to maintain your state of alignment, your clarity of intention, and your open receptivity. The universe will handle the logistics. Your insistence on your own timeline is a form of resistance, a declaration that you do not trust the divine intelligence at work. When you release this resistance, you will find that your desires often manifest with a speed that surprises you, because you have removed the very blockages that were creating the delay. The sacred practice of trust in timing. Identify a desire that you have been feeling impatient about. Sit in quiet meditation and bring this desire to mind. Now, consciously and lovingly release its timeline to the universe. Visualize yourself placing the when of its manifestation into a beautiful golden box and handing it over to the divine. Speak these words: "I release my need to know when my desire will manifest. I trust completely in divine timing. I know that all is unfolding in perfect order for my highest good." Feel the peace that comes from this surrender. Every time a thought of impatience or worry arises, gently remind yourself divine timing is at work, and return to this state of peace. You are no longer a frantic gardener, you are a wise partner with the seasons of creation in the vast and silent expanse of the cosmos. Two stars journeyed through the darkness for eons. They followed their own orbits, guided by an unseen gravitational pull. They were not searching for each other. They did not even know of each other's existence. They were simply being true to their own nature, following their own unique path. Yet the very laws of the universe had decreed that their paths would intersect at one precise and perfect moment in time. When they finally met, their light did not just add together, it multiplied, creating a celestial brilliance that illuminated their corner of the galaxy. You have been searching for love, for connection, for your soulmate. You have been looking for your other half, believing that your completion lies in another. But this is the search of the ego, the belief that you are incomplete and need someone else to make you whole. The universe operates on a different principle, the principle of aligned orbits. Your soulmate is not someone you find. They are someone you attract when you are in perfect alignment with your own true nature, when you are living your purpose, following your joy, and being true to your own soul's path. You begin to emit a unique and powerful gravitational pull. This is the energy that draws your divinely aligned partner to you. You do not need to search for them. You simply need to become yourself so fully that they cannot help but find you. A woman named Lyra had given up on love after a series of painful relationships. She decided to focus on her own healing and her own joy. She poured her energy into her passion for painting. She traveled to places that made her heart sing. She built a life that was rich and fulfilling on its own. She was not looking for a partner. She was building a beautiful world for herself. One day, while painting in a small seaside village, a man approached her. He was also an artist, drawn to the same light, the same beauty that Lyra was. He had not been searching for her. He had been following his own soul's calling, and it had led him directly to her. Their connection was instant and profound, not because they completed each other, but because they recognized each other. They were two whole stars whose orbits had finally and perfectly aligned. This is the secret to attracting the love you desire. Stop searching. Start becoming focused on your own alignment, on your own joy, on your own purpose. Become the person you would want to be with. Radiate the love you wish to receive. Your work is not to find the right person. Your work is to become the right person, and to trust that the universe, in its infinite wisdom, is already orchestrating the perfect intersection of your orbits. The sacred practice of the energetic invitation. Create a sacred space in your home and in your heart. For your future partner, this is not a practice of longing, but of preparation. Make space in your closet. Arrange your home as if you are joyfully expecting a beloved guest. But most importantly, make space in your energetic field. Each day in meditation, feel the presence of your aligned partner, not as a specific person, but as an energy. A feeling of love, companionship, and joyful resonance. Send out a clear and loving invitation from your heart. I am ready. I am whole. I am living my truth. And I joyfully welcome the one whose soul dances to the same music as mine. Then release the invitation and return your focus to your own joyful life. You have sent the signal into the cosmos. Trust that the response is already on its way. In an ancient healing temple nestled in a valley of vibrant life force, patients were healed not with medicine, but with resonance. The temple was constructed with a series of massive crystal bowls, each tuned to a specific frequency that corresponded to a different organ and energy center of the human body. When a person was ill, the priests of the temple would not focus on the disease. They would identify the part of the body that was out of tune, and they would play the corresponding crystal bowl. Its pure, harmonious tone would fill the temple, and the patient's body would naturally realign. With this perfect vibration, the diseased cells could not survive in the presence of such perfect harmony, and they would either transform or be eliminated from the system. You have been taught to see healing as a battle, a fight against disease, an attack on invading germs. But this is a paradigm of conflict that often creates more stress and resistance in the body. True healing at its deepest level is a matter of energetic alignment. Your body possesses an innate intelligence, a divine blueprint of perfect health. When you are in a state of ease, joy, and love, your body's natural healing mechanisms function at their peak. But when you are in a state of stress, fear, or resentment, you create energetic static that disrupts this natural harmony. Illness is simply a part of your body that has forgotten its perfect song, its original frequency of health. The path to healing is not to fight the dissonance, but to reintroduce the perfect tone. A man named Arthur suffered from a chronic ailment that had plagued him for years. He had tried every conventional treatment with little success. One day he met a healer who did not even ask about his symptoms. Instead, she taught him a simple practice of cellular alignment. Each morning, she instructed him to sit in the sun and visualize a golden light, a liquid sunshine filled with the frequency of perfect health pouring into every cell of his body. It was not to fight the illness, but to love his cells back into their original state of perfection. Arthur practiced this diligently at first. His mind resisted, filled with doubt, but he persisted, focusing on the feeling of warmth and vitality spreading through him. Slowly, miraculously, his symptoms began to fade, his energy returned, and his body remembered its own innate capacity for wholeness. He had not conquered a disease. He had remembered his health. This is the power that lies within you to heal yourself through resonance and alignment. Your body is not your enemy. It is your sacred ally, constantly communicating with you, constantly striving for balance. Your role is to create the optimal energetic environment for it to do its miraculous work. The sacred practice of the cellular alignment visualization. Find a quiet, comfortable place where you can relax completely. Close your eyes and bring your awareness to your breath. Now visualize a brilliant shimmering light above your head. This is the light of pure universal life force, the frequency of perfect health and wholeness. See this light pouring down into your body through the crown of your head, filling every part of you with its healing radiance. Feel it as a warm, tingling sensation as it flows through your brain, your face, your throat, your heart. Feel it moving down your spine, into your organs, down your legs, and into your feet. Imagine every single cell of your body drinking in this light, becoming plump, vibrant, and alive. See any areas of discomfort or disease being washed clean, dissolved by this powerful healing frequency. As you do this, speak these words to your cells. I love you. I thank you. I honor your innate intelligence. You are now returning to your divine blueprint of perfect health. Rest in this visualization for 15 to 20 minutes, allowing your body to completely recalibrate to the frequency of wellness in the heart of a dark and silent valley. A lone traveler lit a single small lantern. Its flame was tiny, a fragile spark against the immense darkness. But a strange thing happened. Another traveler on a distant ridge saw the light and feeling a surge of hope lit their own lantern, then another and another, until the entire valley was aglow with thousands of points of light. The darkness had not been fought or defeated. It had simply been transformed by the collective radiance. You have been on a journey of personal alignment, a quest to transform your own reality. But now you arrive at a truth that expands beyond the self. Your aligned state is not just for you, it is a gift to the world. Your peace does not just bring you peace, it creates ripples of tranquility that touch everyone you encounter. Your abundance does not just enrich your life, it broadcasts a frequency of possibility that can inspire and uplift an entire community. You are a cosmic echo, a transmitting station of consciousness. The frequency you hold becomes a part of the collective field of humanity. When you choose love over fear, you are casting a vote for the evolution of the entire planet. When you choose joy over despair, You are adding a powerful, harmonious note to the symphony of human experience. This is not a metaphor. It is the hidden dynamic of reality. Your inner work is the most profound form of service you can offer. A woman named Eleanor lived in a city plagued by cynicism and conflict. Instead of joining in the arguments or trying to change people's minds, she created a small sanctuary of peace in her own apartment. She filled it with plants, beautiful music, and a palpable aura of serenity. She did not invite anyone over. She did not preach her philosophy. She simply maintained her own high vibration, but soon her neighbors began to notice a change. They felt calmer when they passed her door. The constant arguments in the building began to subside. People started greeting each other in the hallways. Eleanor's personal peace had created a benevolent ripple, a contagious frequency of harmony that was subtly transforming her entire environment. This is the ultimate responsibility of mastery, to understand that your state of being is a powerful force that shapes not just your world, but the world you do not need to solve the world's problems. You need to become the solution in your own being. Your alignment is your activism. Your joy is your contribution. Your peace is your prayer for humanity. The sacred practice of the benevolent ripple. Find a moment to sit in a state of high alignment, feeling love, peace, or joy as intensely as you can. Now visualize this energy radiating out from your heart, like waves from a stone dropped in a pond. See these waves of light and love flowing out beyond your home, into your neighborhood, your city, your country. See them washing over the entire planet, touching every living being. Do not attach any specific outcome to this practice. Simply offer your aligned state as a gift to the world. Know that your personal vibration is a powerful force for good, a silent prayer that is heard and felt across the globe. As you practice this, you become a conscious agent of transformation, a lighthouse whose beam not only guides your own ship, but also helps to illuminate the way for all of humanity. In a great and ancient weaving hall stood a master weaver before a vast and complex loom. On the side where he worked, there was a chaotic tangle of threads, colors, and patterns that seemed to make no sense. He worked with a serene trust, moving his hands with a grace that came from a deep knowing. You stand on one side of the great tapestry of life. From your perspective, events can seem random, chaotic, and meaningless. You see only the tangled threads, the knots, the seemingly unconnected colors. You try to make sense of it, to control the pattern, to force the threads into a design that your mind can comprehend. But you are looking at the back of the tapestry. The master creator, the universe, stands on the other side. On that side, every thread has its place. Every color contributes to a design of breathtaking beauty and perfection. What seems like a knot from your side is a crucial detail in the masterpiece. What appears as a chaotic tangle is actually an intricate part of a sublime pattern. The sacred wisdom you must now embody is the art of trusting the unseen hand, the divine intelligence that is weaving the tapestry of your life, even when it makes no sense. From your limited perspective, your desire for everything to be neat and logical on your side of the loom is what creates your suffering. You must learn to trust the weaver. A man named Samuel had his life fall apart. His business failed, his wife left him, and he lost his home. From his perspective, his life was a meaningless tangle of painful threads. In his despair, he went to a monastery and spoke with an old monk who had spent his life contemplating the nature of reality. The monk took him to the monastery's weaving room and showed him the back of a magnificent tapestry depicting a golden dragon. "See this chaos," the monk said, pointing to the tangled knots and loose threads. "This is your life, as you see it now." Then he walked Samuel to the other side of the loom and revealed the front of the tapestry. The dragon soared with a power and majesty that stole Samuel's breath. Every thread that had seemed chaotic on the back was a perfect and essential part of the dragon's scales. its fiery breath, its wise and ancient eyes. Your life is this tapestry, the monk said softly. You cannot see the finished design from where you stand. Your only task is to trust the weaver. This is the ultimate surrender to release, not just your attachment to outcomes, but your very need to understand how all the pieces fit together. It is to have such profound faith in the divine orchestrator that you can find peace even in the midst of chaos, knowing that a masterpiece is being woven through you. The sacred practice of the unseen weaver trust. When you are faced with a situation that seems chaotic or meaningless, find a quiet moment and close your eyes. Visualize yourself as a single thread in a vast and beautiful tapestry. See the hand of a divine weaver lovingly and skillfully guiding you into your perfect place in the design. You do not need to see the whole picture, you only need to trust. The hand that holds you speak these words: I am a perfect thread in a divine masterpiece. I release my need to understand the pattern. I trust the unseen hand of the weaver. Feel the deep peace that comes from this surrender. You are relieved of the burden of making sense of it all. You can simply relax into your role as a vital and beautiful part of a cosmic work of art
Yes, ma'am.
in the highest chamber of the Temple of Knowledge. The final initiation was not a test of power or a demonstration of skill, but a single profound realization. The seeker who had mastered all the principles of alignment and creation was brought before a flawless mirror that reflected not their body, but the entire cosmos. Stars, galaxies, and nebulae swirled within its depths. The
Perfect.
high priest would then ask the final question: who are you? You have journeyed from the illusion of separation to the power of alignment. You have learned to command the universe to read its signs and to dance with its rhythms. But now you stand before the final veil, the one that separates alignment from oneness. Alignment implies two things: you and the universe coming into harmony. Oneness is the realization that there were never two things to begin with. There is only one consciousness, one being, one infinite self experiencing itself. Through the temporary form you call you, the musician who has mastered their instrument, no longer thinks I am playing the violin. The I and the violin and the music become one seamless expression. This is the state that now calls to you. It is the dissolution of the doer, the final surrender of the personal self into the universal self. A mystic named Alara reached this state after a lifetime of devotion. She had practiced every form of
Okay,
meditation,
y'all. I know y'all
every
hear the
prayer,
ASMR
every
in the
ritual.
background.
One day, as she sat by a waterfall,
Finally set up
she
my
watched
new
the mist
bed.
rising from the cascading water, and a thought came to her: which is the water and which is the air? In that moment, the boundary between herself and the waterfall dissolved.
Okay.
She was the rock. She was the water.
Girl.
She was the sunlight dancing
Yes.
on the spray. She was not Alara.
Girl. Okay. Just listening to this. I know y'all heard me in the background. I put up my bed frame, my new bed frame. I'm gonna tell you why I was nervous. Because I have the mattress, and then I have that mattress on top. You know that little cover, like that real good cover on top of the mattress? Yeah, girl. So my bed looking like a whole grandma bed. You know that big high ass grandma bed? I gotta get a damn ladder on this bed. Girl, I'm feeling like I'm 5'4" coming up on this shit. Girl, I gotta get a ladder. I feel like I need to step on my futon in here and come on the bed. Girl. Today is a relaxed day. This book is good. I know y'all heard me yelling in the background. Like, oh boy, don't start this love shit. But when it started telling the story, I was like, okay, this book wins.
Experiencing the waterfall, she was the waterfall experiencing itself. This is not a concept to be understood by the mind. It is a truth to be realized in the heart. It is the ultimate homecoming. When this shift occurs, the need to manifest anything dissolves, because you recognize that you are everything you cannot desire what you already are. Abundance is not something you attract. It is your very nature. Love is not something you find.
That's right.
It is the fabric of your being. Your desires transform from the personal cravings of the ego to the universal impulses of creation moving through you.
Oh,
You may still be guided to build a business or write a book, but you will do so not to get something, but as the natural and joyful expression of the universe unfolding through you.
you know what?
The sacred practice of the oneness. Declaration: sit in a quiet space and close your eyes. Feel your breath entering and leaving your body. Now, with each breath, let the boundary between you and the world around you soften. Feel the air you breathe, not as external, but as part of you. Feel the chair supporting you, not as separate, but as an extension of you. Continue this expansion until your sense of separate self completely dissolves into the awareness of the one life that permeates all things. Now, from this state of oneness, speak a new kind of declaration, not a command from a separate self, but a recognition of what is. I am the abundance that flows. I am the love that connects.
I am the love.
I am the wisdom that guides.
I am the wisdom.
I am the peace that sustains. Rest in this state for as long as you can. This is not a practice to achieve something. It is a remembrance of everything you are. You have not just aligned with the universe. You have realized you are the universe. In a world where everyone believed they were separate waves in a vast ocean, lived a master who knew a different truth. He moved through life not as a wave, but as the ocean itself. His actions were not personal strivings, but the natural movements of the tide. His words were not his own opinions, but the murmur of the deep. He did not try to control the other waves. He simply was, and in his being, all the other waves found their true rhythm. You have completed the journey of alignment and have arrived at the shore of oneness. Your life from this point forward is no longer a personal project. It is a divine expression. Your days are no longer a series of tasks to be completed, but a flow of experiences to be witnessed with love and wonder. You are living as the flow. This is the day-to-day experience of a master. There is no more struggle because you have realized you are the power that you once struggled against. There is no more fear because you have merged with the love that casts out all fear. There is no more lack because you have become one with the infinite source of all abundance.
I know, because I feel
Your
like
relationships
I'm
transform.
dead
You no
now.
longer seek completion in
Girl,
another
I feel like I'm
because you are
motherfucking
whole within
queen.
yourself. You attract others who are also living from their own wholeness, and your interactions become a joyful dance of two sovereign beings celebrating their shared divinity. Your work becomes play. It is no longer a means to an end, but the joyful expression of the universe's creativity flowing through you. You do not worry about success or failure because you are detached from the outcome. Your only focus is the joy of the creative process itself. Challenges may still arise, but you meet them with a new perspective. You see them not as obstacles, but as opportunities for the universe to express its intelligence and ingenuity through you. You do not solve problems, you become the space in which divine solutions can appear. A woman who had reached this state of mastery was asked by a student,
Well,
"What do you do all day?" The master smiled. "I breathe," she said. "I walk, I eat, I speak with those I meet, and in each of these simple acts,
girl,
the entire universe is present." The student was
I got somewhere
confused.
to hold my
"But what
phone.
about your goals, your ambitions?"
Okay?
"I have only
I
one
got somewhere to
goal."
hold my
The
phone.
master replied, "to
And
be
when
so
I hold my
completely present
phone,
in this
it
moment
charges.
that the
Where's my
distinction
other phone
between
at?
me and the
Oh,
moment
goodness.
dissolves. My only
Where
ambition
my
is
phone
to be a
at?
clear and open channel for the love that animates all things. This is the life that now unfolds before you, a life of profound simplicity and unimaginable power. You have released the burden of the personal self and have embraced the freedom of the universal self. You are no longer a small boat navigating a vast ocean. You are the ocean itself, experiencing its own
Okay. Okay, listen. It's been awesome. I enjoyed these stories more. I'm feeling great today. I don't know how everybody else is feeling. I hope you're feeling great, you know. Um, Here is the key of it all. What matters is that you live in the alignment of what you say that you are. Okay? Now I'm talking to you at the top of the second hour. You live in the alignment of what you completely say that you are. The only thing that is going to stop you, this is what I'm learning, like literally, really, really, really is going to stop you, is you, is your doubts. The number one thing that stands out to me in my notes, I'm not at my desk, but I do remember some of my notes. It said, this world, this reality that's outside of us, that we've been taught, that we grew in, is limited. And we're taught to limit ourselves, you know? And some of us who have the experience, you know what I'm talking about. We're taught to limit ourselves. We're taught to be codependent people. We're taught this. We're not taught to be independent. You have people teaching codependency while trying to say that this is how you be independent, by being codependent, by using someone else to be independent. Do you see what I'm saying? I don't have to go into the world of how codependency is something that is made to for us. So listen, another thing. Here's another thing that has to happen. You have to check your own self-doubts. We are taught that there are things that are unreachable, right? But according to our mindset, according to our own reality and how we think about it, those things are very reachable. There are people right now that I see their success, and I'll be like, I'm not surprised that they have it because they've been had it. You see what I'm saying? Like I was like, well, as long as I've known that person and I met the person, and when I was there with the person, they've been had all this success. They've been had this level of what they are today. Just much more older and mature, but they still have it. So I'm just saying that it just all comes down to you. Do you get what I'm saying? So I'm thinking I want to move this location. I'm trying to think of how I'm gonna do this, being that that's right there. I was thinking about moving this, but I actually like it this way because I'm in my mind now because like I got the futon with this. Oh shit, I fucked up because I got to I'm gonna have to move this because the end table is here and it's in front of my closet. So I'm gonna have to probably still move this over, and I'm probably gonna have to still put my bed in front of the window. Yeah, I'm probably gonna still have to put my bed in front of the window. I didn't want to do that, but it might be better because then if that, you know what I'm saying? And then take this table and move it to the, I'm gonna have to move everything over. Damn it. Yeah, I should have moved all this, but no, it wasn't possible to do anyway. Actually, it's better that I assembled it and I can actually move it a lot better. But other than that, I'll figure it out. It's just this big ass table. Because the thing about this big ass glass table is I have to take it down to move it. I can't just slide it around to move it. That's actually more dangerous to do. I have to kind of lift it. No, actually, no, I can circle and slide it around. I'll figure out what I want to do. It's hitting me now because I'm like, oh shit, the table's in front of my closet. But even with the table in front of the closet, I have to I'll figure it out. Because I don't put my clothes in dressers and all of that. I like my clothes. I like my clothes to be out looking at me. I'm very big about my clothes just looking at me. And I like to have my clothes hanging up in my face. And plus, I'm about to toss all these clothes out. Most of these clothes is going in the trash. Yeah. I'm done. building up a whole new wardrobe, new style. Everything is changing. So yeah. I had been was going to do that anyway, but okay. Excuse me. So let's get into something else. We at the top of the 2 hours, so I'm gonna go ahead and just shut it down, okay? And we just gonna circle it right back around, and we're gonna make this another part. Let's keep going.